it's best to come off this medicine. So I came off of it. When I did, I was having crisis back to back crisis hospital admissions. And that's when I was introduced to the exchange transfusion program. So every 6 weeks now, I go for part of my treatment is an exchange transfusion. That's where they, put one line in my arm, another line in another arm, and they draw blood from me through one arm so that my sickle cell blood levels go down, and they give me new blood. I get 12 bags of blood every 6 weeks. And these 12 bags, so the picture you would have said you saw mine on Instagram would have been me on the hospital bed receiving blood. And the 12 bags given to me are from 12 different blood donors. So you can imagine how much blood we need for one person who gets 12 bags every 6 weeks, and that comes from 12 different people who have donated blood.
Affinity Xtra. Be extra.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and do not necessarily represent the views of Affinity Xtra.
Yeah. People, this is your boy here, Roger Moore, Affinity Xtra, celebrating gospel music of Black origin, and here we are, right, guys. I got the people will say the warm look in behind me. I got pure reds behind me with a bit of green. You know what I'm saying, a bit of bantu in there, right? Yeah, you know the colors work. But the reason why we got mainly red here because I will be doing a series which I really wanted to do probably about a year ago, but just time and support and developing the team, I've been away from it, but something prompted me the other day. Yeah, I'm saying something hit me. We can spiritualize it. We can social media it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I bump into something trigged it. More likely, I bump into something which a friend of mine, Ali, I'm gonna say it's Alidor, but Astar, aka Astar. You know what I'm saying? And I saw him I'm sure it's a post, and I'm saying, hold on a second. What came to my mind was, shouldn't you be doing this more often? Shouldn't this be a louder noise? How come I only see Faith? And no offense to Faith, but Faith is such a cool, open dude, but he's of a generation and he's a brethren. So I don't quite care Faith because Faith is such a cool dude. Yeah? But when you see non-cool dudes get it, yeah, then I'll go, yeah, it's making way. But I thought, hold on a second. As a community, as an industry, and the reason why we are called gospel primarily is because it defines us as Black people, is that we face a silent pain. Yeah. Do I use the phrase hidden pain, which has decimated a community a long time now. We've had knowledge of it and we've done barely nothing about it. Now, I will be having conversations, and I believe it, with the NHS. Now, there is a podcast I've done a few years back with Astar himself. I'm going to refer to him as Astar because, it's got a bit nicer flow. You know what I'm saying? It goes, yes. We did one together a few years back. And when I did a podcast with the NHS, just explaining the whole, and to be honest, guys, I'm scared of blood. My wife's on dialysis and blood just does not meet. When I see blood, I'm like, I'm ready to faint. I can watch war movies, but I can't do blood in real life. It's a scary thing for me. But it's something as Black people we need to understand that our people will need us in the level of blood, but also there's also preventative measures which we're going to touch base with in terms of education and a case of accountability of our community leaders. That includes the religious leaders that are socially involved with Black people to understand this hidden pain that is hitting us. And the reason why we look at the blood, we talk about the blood all the time, the blood of this, the blood of this, the blood of that, because we know without the blood, this body is dead. So how are we functioning with something which kills us through our blood? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, going. I learned about it. And then when I seen the treatments and I went through it with the doctor, I was like, oh, yo, this thing is, it's not belittling that. I was taught as a young man who went to church years ago. I was a teenager and a lady came in, talked about sickle cell. So this is nothing new. And sickle cell is an issue. I don't want to hear about no super cell. I'm dealing with the real thing, and we are good of escaping to Black Panther land. You know what I'm saying? We're good at watching, you know what I'm saying, Wakanda. But we're not talking about Wakanda. We're talking about Africa. We're talking about the real life. So I'm not dealing with supercell, because supercell does nothing for the people who are suffering with sickle cell and the people potentially to come. But we want to stop this. So if you think Roger's so serious about it, it is serious about it, because I myself have something. When I was younger, I was epileptic, and you know, I mean, all these things, and I know what it's like to have something which people don't know what you have just by looking at you. And just because your arms are dropping off doesn't mean you're not going through it. So it's very easy to blight it off. Yeah, man. Astar, preach, man. Astar, jump up. Yeah, man, he jumped up and down. Arsenal just scored. But you don't know. You don't know what's going inside. Don't know what's going inside. So, sorry, I have to introduce it like that, big people, because I'm heavily convicted. And every time I talk about it, it drives me forward, because, guys, I haven't got the trait. You know what I'm saying? You know, I haven't, you know what I mean? You know, that's straight, man. So do I just ignore it and carry on like it doesn't affect me? So, guys, let's get into it. First of all, I just want to introduce Astar here is as my guest in this particular episode, because we're going to be doing episodes and you're going to see Roger get drained out. Yeah, man, you see, you're thinking, yeah, right. What you see is blood. Yeah, man, you're going to see me go pink. But nothing but love to Astar. We're going to catch up with his journey with this, but we just want to say, what's happening, my bro? We know you've done some stuff of late whatsoever, but just give us a health check-in with how you're doing personally, and, you know, just where you are, you know, right now anyway, still, bro.
Thank you, Roger. I'm good, man. I'm just been working, just taking care of family, and working on also my community interest company here, the Pay Society. So we just did our first blood drive in January 2026, where we got up to 40 people to sign up to donate blood in a local blood center in London. And that's what we're trying to do, man, raise awareness about sickle cell and encourage people from the local community, especially Black people, to donate blood. So that's what I've been doing, man. Getting back into music as well. So I'll be releasing music this year. Really looking forward to it and excited about it. I'll be sending you some rhythms soon, man. But besides that, all is well, man. All is well. God is gracious. God is still good. And we're still lifting up the name of Jesus, man.
Brilliant. I love that, bro. Listen, that's what triggered me then. So you did that push, that I would have seen that post. That's the one when I went, whoa, like this. And I went straight on my phone, talked to a few friends over in the health world, and we're hopefully going to be breaking into this, because there's some amazing information out there, but the amazing thing are not being done. So please, bro, I know you do in your talks, but just briefly explain to the freshies, anyone fresh coming into this, sickle cell. You know what I mean? Why should I? And I know there's in extreme circumstances there are white people that do get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's not go to extremity. It is majority African. I believe sub-Saharan African condition specifically that affects us. Is it referred to as a condition, or it's basically a genetic blood disorder, isn't it?
That's right. It's a genetic blood disease. So you could call it sickle cell disease or sickle cell anemia. That's what it's known as. But it is a blood condition that affects the red blood cells. Usually, our red blood cells are usually round shape, and they carry their job is to carry oxygen around the body. With people who have sickle cell, full-blown sickle cell, SS or SC, there's different types, but the most well-known one is SS. That's full-blown sickle cell. People who have that mostly are, and that's what I have, mostly are red blood cells are mostly sickle shaped or crescent shaped or half moon. And, in times of either extreme weather conditions or exhaustion or dehydration, we can fall into a painful episode called a sickle cell crisis. And that's where the crescent shaped red blood cells, they clog up against each other, and it's difficult for your blood to flow through your blood arteries and the veins, and they get sticky and cloggy, and that causes excruciating pain. So that's kind of what a sickle cell crisis is, and sickle cell affects us in different ways. It can, because of obviously the lack of blood flowing or oxygen flowing through our bodies, because of how our red blood cells are shaped. Could affect our organs as well. People can get organ failure. It can affect joints. So it could create what you call avascular necrosis, where joints in your bodies are a bit weaker because obviously there's a lack of blood or oxygen flowing through there. So at the age of 25, I got a left hip replacement because of that. So this is something that really, really does affect our community. It's a genetic disease, so it comes from both parents, comes from the lineage, and this is why we encourage people to not just know their blood type, which is important, but to know their genotype. Blood type and genotype are two different things. So genotype is specifically linked to your sickle cell. So I am SS, which means I have the full-blown sickle cell, and my parents have AS, which is the trait. My dad has the trait, and my mum has full-blown sickle cell. So obviously in the 80s, the conversation of sickle cell wasn't as popular or as common as it is today. So people weren't really having that conversation when they were having children. So I am one of many in my generation that have sickle cell anemia. And, we're talking about it more today because we want to raise awareness and let people know sickle cell is real. It affects our community, and it's important for our community to know their genotype before they have children.
Wow.
Because some people have a sickle cell trait and they don't even know, or they don't care, and they will get with someone else who has a sickle cell trait, and then there's a 1 in 4 chance for your child to have sickle cell. And there's many of us today that have sickle cell through the fact that both of our parents have sickle cell trait, and people are still having children today whilst having a sickle cell trait, and unfortunately are giving birth to children with sickle cell. So this is why we're raising awareness and telling our community the importance of knowing your genotype.
And you know what, guys? And this is our problem. When we don't have something, we're ignorant. Yeah. Astar's got this, so it don't affect me. Yeah. Now, I'm going to my personal level, and I've mentioned this before on my other podcast or whatever, that when I remember forgetting my wife, and my wife's on it really when it came to this, because my wife had thalassemia trait. Yeah. So when you see these light people come around the place, sometimes we're influenced by the Mediterranean version of sickle cell. You know what I'm saying? Which is thalassemia. And I didn't really know, because my nan's Portuguese, that it actually, they told me there's nothing. My nan told me there's nothing in my family. My nan was like, no. We ain't got, our blood is quality. And when I found out that in some of my family have got it. Yeah. So the problem is, and we love our elders, our granddaughters, but that generation is pride. Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? We don't have them things. Our thing is cool. Yeah. We're strong. We're healthy. The denial of any sort of, investigation. You don't need to investigate. We're good. Look, I'm nice, man. I'm nice. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's not nice, because you're dodging bullets. Absolute bullets. So my wife, just after we got married, my wife goes, hold on a second. Like, have you, for some reason, I think it was after we got married. Yeah. She kind of clocked certain things. You know what I mean? I just, we need to get this checked out, because this will affect our children. We might have to adopt. That's how serious it is, because I don't want to put my child through any full-blown thalassemia or full-blown sickle cell. You know what I mean? And what makes it worse, my wife could have the thalassemia trait, and I could be full-on sickle cell or sickle cell's trait, and the combo together, it's not a nice thing either.
That's right. Your
Sorry if
child
I'm
could have
scared.
sickle cell and thalassemia.
See, man. Yeah. But people might think, why you're scaring us? You're just doing this video to scare. No, I'm being real because sometimes, ignorance is bliss until your child goes through it. Oh, but I love my child. I put it before God and God will be. No. Do you love your child enough? When you see this prayer. Now, explain to us, bro. No one can explain what pain is now. Women tend to laugh at men when they try to depict women's pain and when it comes to having children. Now, in terms of a crisis, is it a particular area or does the crisis affect your whole body?
It affects wherever there's blood flowing in the body, which means everywhere.
Whoa.
You can have a sickle cell crisis in your legs, in your arms, in your hands, in your head, face, chest, back, everywhere. And wherever there's blood flowing in your body, sickle cell can affect it.
So can you just have? Can it be regionalized? Can it be just in your leg? People lose the what?
Yeah, definitely. People lose their sight. Yeah, people lose their sight because of sickle cell. Remember, you have to remember blood flows to the eyes as well. Blood flows to the eyes as well. So you got specific parts in the back of your eye which blood flows to your eye as well. So it can affect your eyesight as well. I know people personally that have been lost sight in one of their eyes because of sickle cell. It's very common, but you don't hear these things. Even sorry to be crude, but priapism is a thing where for men who have sickle cell, you have blood flow into your private parts. So that is a thing as well where you have painful erections because of priapism and because it's caused by sickle cell. And I know people that has happened to as well. So it literally can affect every part of your body.
Bro, I would have to have a special vocab allowed by pastor if I was going through that paper. I'd be like, lad, you have to, but there'll be some cries going out. And the thing is, is there like with when people have allergic reactions and you got an EpiPen? Yeah. I'm throwing things at you because I'm just throwing you stuff that people will think. Is there like an EpiPen that you can just go, I got pain in my leg?
No,
really?
Unfortunately not. So with sickle cell, because it affects the blood, so the pain is very, very thorough. It's excruciating pain. So sometimes if I feel like I've got a pain in my leg or in my arm, and it's like a manageable pain, I can kind of manage the pain at home and just take painkillers or medicine. But when you have a full-blown crisis where to a point where the pain is unbearable, you got to go to the hospital, and that's where you receive
whoa. You can have tremors and earthquakes, basically, yeah? So there's no once in every 3 years having have a major crisis. You potentially have tremors in your life, like, okay, right, let me just take some, get through. I mean, there's one that...
100%. It affects people differently. So you can I can literally go out today and say, let me take a walk to the shop and randomly start feeling pain in my arm. Or it just, that's the thing with sickle cell. It is so unpredictable. It won't tell you when it's gonna, when it's gonna pop up. Yeah, so it's very unpredictable. You can have a crisis in your arm or your leg just randomly, or you could just have a full-blown chest crisis, which is dangerous, which is called an acute chest crisis because that's close to your heart, it's close to your lungs when you have a chest crisis. So you can have,
breathe.
It affects your breathing as well. So it's very, very serious, very serious.
How are we playing with this, bro? Okay, so I'm guys, listen, I've done podcasts about this before, and you just find out something new every time in terms of the journey. Now, now I'm going to sound like because I believe that there's a lot of things in food that helps us and this that. Is there any sort of beetroot juice that you guys kind of sneakily take as also with like yam chips or something, man? There's got to be something that you eat that's natural that could help us here. Come on, man, this is Africa, man. Like, yo, there's got to be guava juice. Is there a juice or is there a food that is good for the blood that can really bring it down?
Yeah, I think as you have with every other condition or disease, there are there are foods that help. But because we have a blood condition, there's foods that help the blood. Obviously, beetroot is great for the blood. So is things like coconut water is great for the blood. So I think what we try and do when raising awareness about sickle cell and also encouraging our own people with sickle cell is just and what I've had to do is just live a better life now in regards to look after my health, not just take medicine, but look after my health physically. So, I'm being more consistent in exercising now, and also watching what I'm eating. I love to enjoy good foods. My wife cooks great food, but also we have to cut down on a lot, especially as Africans and Caribbeans. Roger, we love our food, so we're very high on starchy food, I know. Oily food, our stews and our all of that stuff. So man. So it's very, very important that we start watching what we're eating, man.
And I want to pull up on that point. I've done a lot of health podcast and with professionals in different areas, guys. And I've been critiqued that I do them. Because looks like I'm being backed by all these companies about this and making awareness. But the key thing that I talk to professionals about, and that says we've got to take care of our bodies. Right. Do our part. Listen, we'll get into what we can do to stop even sickle cell going to the next generation. But there's when we hear. We've got to take care of our bodies, whether it's sickle cell, wherever it is. And my encouragement, we have to encourage a better and healthier way of doing things. Your wife is, I believe she's Nigerian, isn't it? So like you got the jollof rice syndrome going on in there still, and exactly. and that's a sin right there when they put that oil in there still. I'm like, yo, I don't care how it smells. It ain't happening, man. It ain't happening for me, man. I'm sticking with rice and peas and coconut butter. You know what I'm saying? No fry up and soak down and stuff. But the thing is, it's caused a major problem, and we treat obesity as a beautiful character, but it's actually something serious to our bodies, and it damages the bodies, and it affects our mental health because it affects our quality of life. And all these things, the impact on your life. You know what I'm saying? We've got one life, as I says. Yes, we want to go to heaven. When it talks about the afterlife and different thoughts about that and how we want to do it. But I'm just saying to people, this life that you have, do the best in it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you can max it out. And emphasizing this point of take care of yourselves. And you mentioned things like beetroot and coconut water and stuff like that. I hate it when people say to me, yo, I don't like the taste of coconut water. I didn't. But you get used to it.
Neither do I. But I think when you add it to things that, you could add it to a smoothie. Like we have sea moss as well. Sea moss is great. So we add sea moss to our smoothies and stuff like that. Even beetroot, I don't like the taste of. If you just give me a beetroot fruit by itself, it's not a great taste. No, it's not. But again, if you mix that with other things in a smoothie, with other fruits or whatsoever,
drop some ginger,
whatever you want to do, it helps.
Beetroot's powerful. Really does, so. Beetroot is so powerful, and I think we don't even utilize it. But no, that's 100% cool, bro. And I think that what is important, guys, like this is a brutal condition. Brutal. And quick question, is there medication that you take as well? So I'm just assuming is there like tablets that help things and medication that they have out there?
Yes, there's a regular medication that was introduced in the 90s. It was actually introduced, I remember going to Belgium quite a lot because I've got family there. And I was going every 3 months. I was going to Belgium, and I was having doctor's appointments there. and they introduced me to a medicine called hydroxycarbamide. And I was getting it from Belgium. I think it was before the NHS introduced it in the UK. And I was having it every day. It started from 1 a day when I was very young, to 2 a day, to 3 a day when I was a teenager, to 4 a day when I was in my 20s. Later on in life, and this is also another thing that we don't discuss enough, but I was told by my doctors when I was engaged to my wife that it's a type of chemo, and it could affect the reproductive system. So they said, if we know you're getting married, so if you want to have children, then it's best to come off this medicine. So I came off of it. When I did, I was having crisis back to back crisis hospital admissions, and that's when I was introduced to the exchange transfusion program. So every 6 weeks now, I go for part of my treatment is an exchange transfusion. That's where they, put one line in my arm, another line in another arm, and they draw blood from me through one arm so that my sickle cell blood levels go down, and they give me new blood. I get 12 bags of blood every 6 weeks. And these 12 bags, so the picture you would have said you saw mine on Instagram would have been me on the hospital bed receiving blood. And the 12 bags given to me are from 12 different blood donors. So you can imagine how much blood we need for one person who gets 12 bags every 6 weeks, and that comes from 12 different people who have donated blood.
Well,
So
I spoke to the doctor about this, and I sat down and I kind of, guys, that's a lot of blood. That's a lot of blood. And you primarily need African people blood to do this. Yeah, let's be blunt about it. We can talk about how superior our blood is because everybody can use our blood. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to say that too loud because it gets people annoyed. But we can do.
Man.
You know what I'm
saying? No blood is better or the best for me more than black blood is.
100%,
and we need to be raw for that. I don't think it should be a thing where we're talking about in secret. No, we need to be real and understand. I need black blood. We need black blood, and we need to be bold about saying things like this because our community needs to wake up and understand, how do I help my brother who has sickle cell, or not even just that, but my sister who's giving birth and she's probably lost a lot of blood and she needs a transfusion, or someone that's had a car crash or been stabbed and they're losing blood and they need a transfusion. We need to give more blood for our community, period.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just gonna do a little thing in here. How many people do you reckon have sickle cell in the UK? What is it?
In between.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think it's anything between 18 to 20,000 people.
Okay.
Obviously, before it was it's gone up. 300 babies a year are born with sickle cell, so it does go up every year. The conversation back in the day was like around 15,000, but it keeps going up. So now it is between 18 to 20,000 in the UK that have sickle cell.
Okay, so there's 2.5 million black people. In just say run about 2.5 million, yeah, and you're saying about
in the world,
in the UK, 2.5 million black people in the UK, in the UK. I'm just doing a bit of consensus. I'm just working at the percentage, yeah. So you've got that of 20,000. So you got 20,000 people. So basically, you're talking about. Let me just make sure I get this right. 2.5 million. What is percentage? So we're talking about 20,000 people, yeah? It's with 20,000 people. Let's call it 20,000, yeah? Percentage. Let me just make sure get this right. So I'm just going to do this. I can do my maths where Yeah. So 20,000 is 0.8% roundabout of 2.5 million. Just under 1 out of 100 people have sickle cell. Go to church and have a look at your church that has 100 people. One person has sickle cell.
Facts.
And let's take it there. You know what I'm saying? So,
and not just that.
Yeah. Go on.
If nobody has sickle cell, I guarantee out of them 100 people, at least, Roger, 20 people have the sickle cell trait and they don't even know about it.
Goodness sake. All right.
Some do, but most.
Because we're talking about full blown sickle cell here. We're not talking about the trait. We're talking about the geno. And the reason why, guys, I want to do these facts and I wanted to open up the conversation with my bro is that I'm going for this. I'm going to be accountable. And it's beautiful because I'm hearing stuff about Hidden Pain Society now. We're going to be talking offline 100% because I'm going to the world's going to hold me accountable to this. And we're going to, you don't want in London, bro. We're going to come up to Birmingham and have a look at getting signups for giving blood in Birmingham as well. And that if that means me by myself and a couple of guys in the team, that's cool.
Yeah.
We'll do that 100% and we run that and we do a special day for that. Up here in Bromtown, because I want to highlight what you're doing, because I see what you're passionate. You see the passion. You're not just holding down your corner, and this is where for me the people wonder sometimes just enjoy your success, but no, want to spread. No matter what you enjoy with, bro, you still spread the blessings that you have. You know what I'm saying? It sounds crazy, bro. You should be in the corner moaning, you know what I'm saying? And groaning, but you still go through your pain, but at the same time share. Listen, we have bad days and good days, but I'm a statistical guy, people, I've been in spaces where there's 100 black people. I've been in spaces where there's 200 black people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm starting, when you get to like 200 black people, you're starting, you know what I mean? And we go to conventions and we're looking at all these events. And when you're looking at these major conferences where you have 1,000 people or 2,000 people, there are 20 people suffering in silence. And everybody's up there. And how many times are we mentioned about them 20? How many people know what to do if somebody has a crisis next to them? We get taught about resuscitation, but I need to teach myself. Somebody, I work with people within the community. I have a team full of ballers. What am I? I can educate people around me about this. This is how important it is. So that's a crazy percentage that 0.8% of the black population in UK have full-blown sickle cell, and let alone a genotype could be up to what you're saying, 20% have the sickle cell.
The more would have the genotype of the trait, the sickle cell trait, and they wouldn't know about it. And obviously, if you have sickle cell, then you'll definitely know about it because of obviously the symptoms. And you're more likely to have sickle cell crisis, even though there's some that won't have sickle cell until later on in life or whatnot. It really does depend. But for those who have the sickle cell trait, you could live a perfectly normal life and you just don't even know. One day it could be the fact that you meet someone else that has the trait, they don't know, you have a child. And I've seen circumstances like that. People that have told me, Ali, I just had a child, they got sickle cell, like, just found out I got the trait. My partner had the trait we didn't know. And it's frustrating. And why I'm so passionate about this, Roger, is because my mum has full-blown sickle cell, the same as me. I've had experiences where I've been in the hospital at the same time as my mum. And I've had to leave my ward to go and see her, visit her in her hospital bed, in her ward, in the same hospital. But I'm just having to go down the corridor from children's to adult ward to go see my mum. So we've both been in hospital at the same time. I've been a patient and a carer in my household. I grew up in a single parent home, just me and my mum, both having sickle cell. So I told myself I would never allow this to continue. I would never allow myself to be so ignorant that I will continue this with my children. So before I met my wife, it's conversations I was having in my relationships very early. If I'd meet someone, I'd talk about sickle cell. And when I met my wife, I told her that I had sickle cell. And as much as I love my wife, we agree on this and always discuss this. But if she had the sickle cell trait, I wouldn't be with her today. That's how serious I am about it. I believe that, yes, you can fall in love with anyone, but also God gives us the wisdom as well to say, you know what, I'm not going to allow you to make the silly decision and allow this suffering to continue in the next generation after you, especially if you have the knowledge of it and you know what it is. Fair enough, our parents didn't discuss it in the 80s, or the research wasn't as much as it is today. Technology wasn't the same it is today. So, the medical technology, etc. So it's understandable. But in 2026, there's no reason why you shouldn't be speaking to someone about their genotype, especially when you want to marry them and have children with them. This is why also I speak to all the pastors out there in churches that are marrying people. If someone wants to get married and you're doing marriage counseling and you're asking them about family background, you're asking them about sexual experiences or past sexual partners, you're asking them deep questions. There's no reason why the question about genotype shouldn't be part of that question as well. You should be asking them, do you know your genotype? If you don't, go and get tested. Go and get your genotype tested so you know. And do you know that if you both have the trait, there is a chance your child could have sickle cell? Is this something that you two are willing to go through in your marriage? These harsh conversations need to be had in the church, Roger. That's where it has to start, within the church.
Bro, I'm mad inside, I'm mad. I'm angry because, like yourself, and I say we, yeah, but I know, you have to walk to school and back, but we grew up in church, yeah? We know what church is, and I cannot count on one hand the times that I've been educated in that space. I can honestly say it has been once and twice because I was too busy chatting. They might have said it, yeah? Once. And I was 12, 11. Yeah? And I remember that. But because I was young, I didn't quite understand, things and whatsoever. So obviously, 12-year-old back in my day was I'm 50 this year, so 12-year-old back in my day is not like these youths. These youths are totally advanced. They know what everything is. Well, we were absolutely like, we were green. So so it's not until later on conversations I realized, the seriousness of it and whatsoever. And okay, for us light-skinned people, we think we got less of a chance to dodge, a mixed heritage people. Let me be open about it. You still need to check yourself out. You know what I mean? And I think, God bless the Cole Palmers of this world, but Cole Palmer, he still needs to check himself. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, brother. You know what I'm saying? So just because you're light skin don't mean you get away with this thing. You know what I'm saying? You got less lightly and stuff. Just because it's a non-light skin issue. Yeah. And light skin uncle is telling you fix up. You know what I'm saying? Yo, check it out, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, and what we as light skin people, you have to ask about your dark haired auntie or uncle or whatever, because end of the day still, or grandma or grandparents, because end of the day still, the Mediterranean version of it, thalassemia, you know what I'm saying, is the combination of it, you know what I'm saying, can be checked out first time, is quite dangerous in an area where you could see the people with sickle cell mixing because of people, the Africa and the Mediterraneans do mix. So you look at Brazil, you got Afro Latinos, you got, bro, it's something where ignorance can be so terrifying, not bliss, terrifying, bro, absolutely terrifying. And I know I reached out and people be scared about this conversation I'm having, as I spoke to you about it in terms of where we're going to go. I know there's complaints about the NHS not doing enough in this country. but let's put NHS aside because they are doing something relative to what we're doing. If we put in, they'll meet us halfway. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm asking our community, have we even put anything in?
Right.
What have we put into this?
Right.
And I'll be going through a journey, people, of talking to different groups, setting up blood spaces, and want to be accountable on this year in 2026 that we're in now, and hopefully professionals from the NHS itself and other people around the world, doctors in Africa, going, listen, when it came to worldwide corona and all these things, we all plowed into ways to sort it out in Africa.
Yeah.
ISHO Speed showed us that Africa is not just mud huts.
Yeah.
We got advanced hospitals there.
Yeah.
Cutting edge. This is stop looking at everybody else to solve our problem. That's what I'm looking at here, bro. And I think that we need to be able to do this. But what hits me is the fact that basically you've got your medication, which basically is chemo, where I know in the Christian world right now, we're talking about, I hear the words of I've had friends who died of cancer. And chemo is a treatment which they didn't want to do. But yet you're taking a medication which is almost a simulant, it's similar to a chemo treatment.
Right.
We're asking you to kill yourself to survive.
Right.
Just give you a poison to get through today, but you will die early. We're trying to kill you. And then you got blood transfusions, which need bags. Bridging, I couldn't cope. I praise God that my wife never had that combo coming out. But guys, we need to check this genotype 100% and stop looking at complexion as, the darker guys are more likely, so I don't need to check out every rubbish. Everyone needs to get started to check out. Just say someone's watched this talking now, bro, and they're heavily like going, boy, I better check this out, and they don't know where to go because they don't know who to ask, how to ask, because a lot of times they may be in a space where they're just going, man, sometimes these people don't know about sickle cell. Yeah. Where do you go? Who do we communicate to? Who do you talk to?
So if you are someone who just is like, you know what, I want to sign up to donate blood, you go, all you need to do is go to blood.co.uk. When you sign up to blood.co.uk, you would need a donor number, which you could easily there should be a button that says become a donor or sign up to donate blood. You will be given a donor number. That's just a number that you keep for the rest of your life. And whenever you want to donate, when you're given a donor number, you can find your, it's completely free. You can find your a local blood centre, whether you're in London, Birmingham, Manchester, Bristol, wherever you are around the UK. You will find a local blood donation centre, and you just book your slot. There should be a local blood donation centre, and for example, Monday, the first Monday of next month, at this time we have a slot. That's it. You go there, it literally takes up to 5 minutes, 10 minutes to donate. They will obviously check your iron levels, etc. And then you'll be able to donate. A lot of people, have fears about that process as well, which is understandable. And this is why I'm encouraging people from the community to come to our blood drive. So I hosted the blood drive with Hidden Pain Society, which is my community interest company. And we are planning to host more blood drives. So hopefully we can even come to Brum and do a blood drive there. And what NHSBT are currently pushing is group bookings. So you can do a whole group booking if, say, we want to have 50 people from one church, or, Affinity Xtra want to give us 20 people to donate. We could say, right, there's a local center where we want to do a group booking on this date. and we want to get 20 people, and we'll book them all one after the other. So we'll block it out from like 12 to 4 p.m. And then all these 20 people are going to go from 12 to 4 p.m. from Affinity Xtra and from Affinity, and they're going to donate, so we can do group bookings as well. So that's good thing, so that we can encourage more people to go in groups. So when I want to do things like the church, church workshops in a church or talks in a church about sickle cell, and a church is like, right, we want to do 100 people from our church want to sign up to donate blood, we can do that in one day. So I can, go to my local blood center and say, we want to do a group booking for one day, this day, and then we're going to get 100 people to sign up, 100%. Get their donor numbers, sign up, and donate on the same day.
No, wow, yeah. But I've just put in, as you just explaining that, I've just put in where my local my local area one is actually at my doctor's, but where I used to go primary school. So locally, so I know where to do my local one. I got no excuse with that one. Also, how do I find out what my genotype?
Right. So this is where we are still fighting for easy access to this, because a lot of people are having challenges when it comes to knowing their genotype. Legally, you should be able to go to your local GP and say, I want to know my genotype. There shouldn't have to be any reason for you to give, for you then for you to just know your genotype. If someone wanted to go to a sexual clinic and say, I want to know if I have an STI because I've been sexually active, they have every right. It's their legal right to go and get tested for free under the NHS and see if they have an STI. Or I'm going to get married and, I had a sexual past or whatever, and I want to get tested. There shouldn't be a reason. Unfortunately, what's happening now is people are receiving pushback from GPs that are saying we can't just do genotype testing. Where they can, there's questions around why they're not doing that. Maybe it's, because it costs them, etc. But that's not an excuse. Anyone should be able to come and ask to know their genotype, to get their tested for their genotype, and have access to be able to do that. What people are doing now, or what people, what I had to do, because when I met my wife and she told me she was AA, which means she didn't have sickle cell or the trait. I said to her, I believe you, but I need proof just so that we can. Some people grow up, their parents. Some people, they'll grow up, their parents tell them you don't have the trait, or as you said, that don't run in our family. And they find out later on down the line they have the trait. So I didn't want that to happen. So I went with my wife to a GP, and she said, I'm going to get married. My boyfriend at the time, which was me, had sickle cell. And that was the reason she was able to get a blood test. Some people also will say, I'm pregnant, or I'm family planning. I want to get married, or I want to have a child.
Okay.
And my partner may have sickle cell. My partner has a trait. I need to know my genotype, because I need to know, is this going to affect my lineage or not? So there are ways around it, but even with that, that shouldn't be the reason why someone can go and get a genotype test. You should be able to go into your local GP and say, I want to know my genotype because it's my legal right to know my genotype. And there shouldn't be any pushback.
Do you think there's something that we want to talk about is terms of geographically as well? So you're from a more browner city. Myself is from a browner city. Obviously, our doctors are probably going to be a bit more open to stuff in our areas, but there are black people all over the country in different areas, diverse areas, and also that's something that we got to be talking about as well. Because what I find is when I went to doctors just talking about checking out about my prostate, they looked at me and said, "There's nothing wrong with you, mate. You're good." I said, "Bro, I don't look my age," and I said, "Black men over 40 need to get checked out." You know what I'm saying? So why you stop? Why? And it's not to say the person had a bad mind, but they just sometimes a bit of the core memo of the NHS organization sometimes don't get out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that the NHS is effective. Yeah, but when you deal with who you deal with, it's rare to see a black person come into space. You got a lot of things to know. You know what I'm saying? And it's a bit more harder. So, how? That's something that we'll have to talk to people about how to deal with that in areas where you're the only black person in the in or when there's a very few of you. And I don't see any need to invest into that. You know what I'm saying? Not being crude, but just, it is what it is. And I think we spoke before and you gave me an illustration of you being outside of London having a crisis. I don't know if you want to give people your, I don't want to call it testimony, but ultimately situation you found yourself having a crisis in an area where that's not much about people. So if you just give that so people can have an idea of, just what living is.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've had more than one, if I'm honest, more than one experience of this happening to me. But for this particular experience, I was performing at a Christian festival, quite a big one, and that was outside of London, more up north. And what happens during this time was, sorry, it wasn't up north; it was more down south. But
I was going to say, you're north and myself.
Exactly. It was more down south because you know how Londoners are.
Everything
outside London is up north, but it's not. It was more down south, but it was in a city, which is the city of Norwich, which there isn't a lot of black people in that city. And so, as soon as I had on my set, as soon as I came off stage, I had a sickle cell crisis. Severe chest pain, pain rushing through my whole body. I fell straight into sickle cell crisis. And at the time I've come off stage, I'm breathing heavy. I'm trying to calm myself down, but my body's just in excruciating pain. I'm having to take pictures with people, sign autographs, sell CDs, and I'm in pain. And I'm like, oh my gosh. As soon as I finished that, I'm gone backstage and I've been put to sit down in a chair and I'm in excruciating pain. Thankfully, on the grounds, there's ambulance. So I go into the ambulance with my wife and my wife's telling them my husband's having a sickle cell crisis and the ambulance is saying, what's that? So she's having to tell them she's having to tell them he needs gas and air, Entonox, because obviously that helps with managing the pain, and he needs morphine. As you know, morphine is probably the most extreme painkiller there is. So they don't just give that to anyone. But because they don't know what sickle cell is, they're like, well, we can't give that to him. We can't just give people. And she's having to start screaming now, do you not know what sickle cell is? He's having a sickle cell crisis. Yeah. He needs SNN and he needs morphine. And I think when they saw how serious she was, it's like, okay, they started... and these times I'm having, so I don't remember all of this. I just wake up in ICU. Jeez. I woke up in intensive care unit, and I've got tubes coming all in and out of me everywhere. And that was a near-death experience for me. So if I can only imagine if they'd just completely just shut me out and said, no, we're not going to help him, then I wouldn't be here today. Thankfully, they were able to, look after me, but also they had to contact my hospital back in London because there was very, very few or short, if not none. I don't even know if I was the first case at the time of sickle cell in that city and in that hospital where they don't know about it. So they had to phone up my hospital, get information, and they were told what treatment they had to give me, etc., etc. But unfortunately, these are some of the challenges we have in, cities where there isn't a lot of black people and sickle cell is not coming over there.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%, bro. Yeah, and I think, and it's not to say that, they never got trained. Sometimes if you don't exercise certain things, you go, oh, snap. Okay, yeah. You're not seeing anything. And so it shows that, you know, we got to know our stuff. We got to know how to support people in this area. What I will say is that it's something to reflect. I want to really emphasize some of the points that you made in terms of I'm going to be hard on our leadership. You know what I'm saying? Our community leaders. Now, traditionally, you've got Black church leadership. Is more very community based Black churches, but also you got to realize that our people now are in spaces where it's mixed, white led churches and whatsoever, and we've got that area of, and what I found in these spaces that they don't really always want to almost say, oh, don't worry about that, God's got it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things as well, and I think that hopefully people are listening into this, and I'm not saying it's just not about bad people, but it's just like the ambulance driver, like. It's almost like my issue, you know what I mean? And I think that this podcast is to show that, you know what, still, yeah, it is an issue. It is a major situation, and I expect a better heart in these spaces. You expect that the hospitals will be traditionally connected to the churches, just like you see when you go to a Muslim country, you see the sickle, the heart, you know, over there. We have the Red Cross. They have their, you know what I mean, and it's connected to our religious, moralistic spaces. So for me, I expect our places to be supportive of a drive to eradicate this, and this is about education, 100% education. And I think that we need to educate our people. We need to emphasize that, listen, it's going to be some tough love going on. And we got to do the tough love, guys. 100%. You know, saying people that you can't marry. Parents, look into it. Because your grandchildren will be forever staying at your house because they can't go to school. So and that sounds like a selfish motive, but let's be real, that's what will happen. They'll be sick. You have to watch them in pain. You know, it's not nice looking at your children on a hospital bed. And if it's preventative, it's preventative, and that's something which we haven't, and we've seen other communities. We mentioned before in our last podcast, he talked about the Greek community that actually through the Orthodox Church, they check into this when it comes to thalassemia. Why can't we do that for when it comes to sickle cell within the Black churches that are not only our Christian covering but also our community covering? Because really and truly, as Christians, we should be all together in all in one place, but it's never worked like that because we stuck together with our communities. So there's that. So there's so much things to cover, so many things to cover. But what I will say, guys, watch your space when it comes to this Hidden Pain Society. Yeah, we're going to encourage you guys. If you're going right after this, we're going to put the description in this, and you want to link up and you want to invite Astar to come to your space and explain his journey. Come on, guys, let's invest into this. Yeah, let's put into the community. Media outlets. It's great talking about Astar the rapper, but we're talking about his rest of his life. It's still a testimony in itself. Yeah, we can't just wait for the raps to come before we have this communication. Now, I didn't know about the album coming out, so this ain't no prelude. This is not a planned storyline by ourselves to go, yo, let's build up towards the album, mate. Let's get everybody looking, vibing and going, yeah, man, I feel sorry for you, and get more plays that way. But this has got nothing to do with that. That's just me just seeing, shouting out on his socials, and I go, oh yeah, and heavy conviction hit me. You know what I mean, to do this. So we'll be reaching out. Any comments, guys, please make. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put as much information as I possibly can, yeah, in the description. But what we do need is that. But there's one more thing. I know there is a crisis center being closed at Whitechapel. Did you go there?
That's my local hospital. Yeah. So it's a Whitechapel. It's Royal London Hospital in Whitechapel. And in December, I had a sickle cell crisis, and I went to the sickle cell ward. So it's a sickle cell ward. Basically, from A&E, they will triage you straight to the sickle cell ward, where
of course, yeah.
you can get. Usually, you'd have to wait in A&E. They'll treat you there until there's a bed available in the ward upstairs. Then you go there. But from A&E, you go there and they will triage you straight to the sickle cell ward, where they treat you there until, you know, they'll give you painkillers and whatever it is you need there. And from there, it might be like, you know what, I'm good enough to be discharged and go home. Or we will treat you here until there's a bed available, so you're not having to wait in A&E. Yep. And, you know, because a lot of people have challenges and trouble in A&E, because A&E is a busy place where a lot of people are coming and need type of treatment. So your average sickle cell patient might get neglected in A&E. So it was a great place. If I'm honest, there was, you know, great nurses there in that ward, you know, where I was able to get treatment until a hospital bed was ready for me to go to a certain ward. And my doctors had told me that this was a trial run. So it was a 6-month trial run to see how beneficial it would be. And it was very beneficial for sickle cell patients that were using it. Unfortunately, and this is also not uncommon, especially when it comes to things that really don't matter to them. They said that it was a funding issue where they didn't have the funding to continue this ward. But we have to discuss very serious issues and matters within the medical system, which is systematic racism. Okay. And this affects mostly Black and brown people. Not all, but most people that have sickle cell are Black and brown. I know white people with sickle cell. I've met white people with sickle cell.
That's crazy.
But if you think about something on a wider scale, like cancer, like leukemia, things that affect a wider, broad amount of people, they would have found the funding somewhere to keep something like this open. Okay. 100%. Yeah. Okay. So these are things these are difficult conversations we need to have. Why is it always when things are affecting our community that we're having to fight for scraps? Why are we fighting for scraps to keep somewhere such as important? I've been there myself. I've been there myself. Why are we fighting to keep these places open? Why are trial runs being done where we know that there's no intention of keeping a place like this open? That's playing with people's lives. Why are we doing that? Why?
Yeah, that's a good point still. And I do feel as well, bro, you know, and I 100% agree with you. But again, I really do say that it's not in the tip of the tongues of people. Yeah, they see it, they pass it in the news, and they just move on. I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about people that look like us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I feel that when do we mobilize? Well, it's not about the NHS. When do we mobilize as a community against this genetic disorder called sickle cell? When do we? Because nobody's gonna do it for us but us. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? When are we going to go? I tell you what, all the slush money that's going on in our community religious organizations, can't you put together and have a building and utilize it for us? So I said, listen, we've got the show working partnership with, and we got professionals that could sow their time into the space. Let's get it. We got it in with us to sort this out. But whether it is important to us, that's my question, bro. Let me be real. I've moaned about online. We got more. If we're only 2.5 of the, well, we're only literally 5% of the population. Literally that, bro. Yeah. But when you watch the Premier League, how many of us are not? It's more than 5% of us in the Premier League. Ask yourself the income of all that and what that can do. We see men like Manu go back home, Sadio Manu, go back home and build a village from scratch. Yeah. Drogba's building. You'll say, if you care about your community, We have major artists that make money.
Yeah.
They want to start football clubs, not hinting out there. But who's stopping something that really changed people's lives? We need to care about this ourselves, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know me. I'm not saying shoot and shoot. I'm saying that, yo, let's care for you. Because I'm looking at myself going, bro, I gotta talk to you off air and say, yo, how do we build up adverts about this, an awareness advert that people can hear on our radio station and understand the concern towards it and encourage people to go, let's start developing, create these. These should be on all our channels, all the gospel media channels, from Premier Gospel to Affinity Xtra to all of us, GX, a whole lot of us, UCB, the whole lot of us.
Yes.
So, you know, it's something real. It's something really that we need to look at, have conversations. I will, bro, if it means that we have to come back on and talk to ministers and talk about the complexities of this. Let's talk about it. Because I ain't heard nobody shout out I've been healed from sickle cell. I've never heard that.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Yeah.
I know a few. That's another discussion also that we need to have as well. Is that there are available treatments, but very, very little research and knowledge around it. So you have the bone marrow transplant and the stem cell transplant.
Yes.
So this is something that's available for people with sickle cell. For some, it's a very dangerous procedure for all. But for some, they discuss the bone marrow transplant if you're at a younger age, just because your bone marrow hasn't fully developed yet. So they allow that. So I know a few people that were of a younger age that got the bone marrow transplant that no longer have sickle cell, but they have the trait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called? I'm watching a series on TV and it was like Sherlock Holmes and Watson, yeah, and it was like in a hospital, like a bit of a detective. I like watching this detective, and they talked about sickle cell and about the step about what you just said there. They talk, because obviously they have to keep things as real as possible in these programs. And they said that it's just not widely available, and they're saying, why isn't this widely available? You know what I'm saying? You know, and so there's a lot of things to discuss. Let's discuss it. You know what I'm saying? So guys, listen, this is Roger here on Affinity Xtra alongside Astar, and we are starting, not ending, not finishing. We're starting a journey to bring or build a lot more awareness in 2026 towards sickle cell. We're pushing hardcore hidden pain society and encourage people to join up. We're going to be somehow setting up a trend to a positive trend to give blood for the people that are suffering, because if there's no blood, it's pain, 100% pain. And I'm going to ask yourself, you know what I mean, look yourself in the mirror and say, yo, are you happy with somebody? 1 out of 100 or 100 to 120 black people, if you want to be really cynical about it, who have sickle cell, but let alone the trait. Let's have a look at our genomes. Let me ask you, that's a question. Do you know it? You know what I mean? So we're going to be encouraging this, and we're going to look at campaigning, and we'll be talking to agencies like NHS and other societies out there to have this conversation. But this ain't no clout chasing. This is just real care, and hopefully you can hear that, guys, that we care about this, and we're going to be talking about this for a long time to come, man. Yeah? You know what I'm saying? So, wow, it has to be. You know what I'm saying? But listen, Astar, thank you so much for your time. I know you're working, man, and taking the time.
Thank you, man. And you know what? Throughout, just like, obviously, I've known you for like a long time, man. Nearly 20 years, man.
20 years,
nearly 20 years. So I remember you first booked us as Forever Christ for a show. I think it must be 2009 or 10.
10, about 10, 10, 11, yeah. And
then we did Geo Live 7, which was 2011. Yes. And Triply and Tadashi came down.
Yeah, boy.
With DJ
Official. Yeah, man.
DJ Official, God bless his soul. And, you know, we've been rocking with you for a long time. And you've always been supportive of not just our music, but even me coming down in 2020 during COVID times and, you know, speaking with you, you know, about Sickle Cell. And thank you, man. Thank you for your support to our community, not just to urban gospel music, but to our personal lives as well. You know, you're someone who we looked up to, you know, with your personal life being a father and a husband and a great example to our community. So, bro, nothing but love and respect for you, Roger, man. Honestly, bro.
Love, problem. Love, man.
Yeah.
And listen, guys, you know, do please check out the description. Do hit us up, and there'll be a lot more to come. If you have any questions, write in the comments. Talk to us. Yeah, we communicate to us. There's going to be links where you can follow. Come hit us, emails, direct messages. We're happy to hear it. Yeah, and we will be talking to professionals and elite professionals in this arena to develop positive conversation, to get this right, just for us to wake us up as a community, and also to understand the pathways for support here going forward, man. So listen, guys, thanks again. This is Roger, over and out, right next to Astar, man. Blessings.
Love, man.
Hey, this is your bishop. This is your bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing, and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website, and also check us out on Insta, and wherever you want to find us on Spotify. You can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of Black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.